Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Grant, earlier this week when you weren't available, I just did a solo thing, and I was talking about Jay Feaster, and I was talking about how rough of a year it's really been on him when you look at some of the mishaps that they've had. Travanka coming over and, the big build-up about this is finally the center we have, and he's playing forward, and then you have the Ryan O'Reilly thing. Bob Hartley's the guy he brings in as
even
a coach.
The Jerome McGinley
and then that's the next one. The Jerome McGinley trade, and the people around the league say, hey, if they would have taken the Boston trade, it would have been a better trade. They got fleeced by Pittsburgh. A lot of people truly believe that.
Whoa, wait a sec. They wanted to take the Boston trade, but they allowed Jerome McGinley to get away with murder here.
Exactly.
So
but here, why
that's
didn't they do
not a
this?
Mistake by Feaster.
Sure it is. Here's why it's a mistake, Grant. Because when you have a situation like that, you say, okay, here's the 4 teams you want to go to. We're going to find the best deal for us. You have to go to the 4 teams you've given us. Whether that's not your top choice or not, this is what has to happen. We're putting the deal together, and you have to accept it. Those are the 4 choices.
You gave us those teams.
You gave us those teams.
We've negotiated something now. You got to accept.
Because that was certainly a black eye.
So you think that's Feaster's fault?
Oh, absolutely.
No, it's not.
This
goes back to what we said earlier in the week about Ken King being involved too much. Being involved too much. Jerome and Ken King were like together for years and years. I remember when Todd Bertuzzi joined the Flames. I was at the news conference, and Ken King asked me, he says, what do you think? I said, I don't know. He's kind of old. Is this what you need, Ken? I don't think Todd Bertuzzi is the answer. He goes, I don't care what you think. Number 12 likes him. Number 12 wanted him.
Well, there you go.
Jerome wanted him.
Yeah.
Flames got him.
Yeah.
So that just... When I think back to that conversation now, the relationship Jerome McGinley had with ownership and especially Ken King tells me right there that yes, he gave a list of 3 or 4 teams you could trade me to. They negotiated a pretty good deal with Boston Bruins. You and I spoke, said it's going to happen. Are you excited, Mike? You're a Bruins fan. He goes, well, it hasn't happened yet, Grant. I can't get excited. You were bang on.
I was in bed. My son calls me and he goes, you're not going to friggin' believe this. He's gone to Pittsburgh. And I said, no, he hasn't. Yeah.
So really, he didn't give the Flames 4 teams to negotiate with. He gave them 1.
Basically, yeah.
But to me, Mike,
marry one.
To me, that's not a Jay Feaster thing. I think Jay and Chiarelli had an agreement there that Jay was going to.
So they pulled an end around on Jay, but he's the guy that looks
King
bad.
And Jerome McGinley. Yeah.
Okay. But
this can I digress like I always do, and why not? Why not? If we can't do it on this show.
Again?
No, I'm not. No. Former coach said this team has pandered to Jerome McGinley far too long.
Yeah.
And that he more and more every year Jerome became more and more selfish. That this was his team. Much like the conversation that I had with Ken King regarding what Jerome wanted. This became Jerome's team. Jerome could do nothing wrong. And the fans out there saying, well, but it's Jerome McGinley. He should. This superstar status in Calgary. But it didn't translate in the dressing room, Mike, or even on the ice. He was given too much clout for who he is. I think the Flames say, okay, Jerome, okay, too much.
Yep.
And it got worse and worse. Good hockey people with the Flames the last few years wanted Jerome out for things like this. He had too much clout within the organization, and that trade with the non-trade with Boston, clearly evidence of that.
Well, Jay Feaster can change this. He can put his stamp on the history.
I don't know if he can.
I'm just saying, let me finish, and then you can just take off like you usually do. He can put his stamp on this, Grant, because they don't want to use this rebuild thing because that's going to scare people, but hockey fans aren't idiots in this town. It is a rebuild. It's scorched earth. They have to just, okay, we're building up. And what a year to do it. With the cap being reduced, you're going to have more free agents available, more bigger names because teams cannot keep everybody. Do you think Pittsburgh's going to be able to keep everybody they got on that roster? No. Not a chance. Plus, you got 3 number 1 draft choices so far. Now, the thing is this, Grant. All he has to do is do something the Flames have never done before. Scout well and draft well. And he can turn this thing around.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If this is the most crucial draft in Flames history, in my opinion, because of the, are they going to resurrect this team quickly? I totally agree. Yes, it is on Jay Feaster. Now you say it's not a rebuild, it's a retool and all this kind of stuff, or it is a rebuild, despite what they say.
Sure, it is.
But one of the most glaring remarks at trade deadline day was when Jay Feaster admitted, Murray Edwards said, the marching orders next year are to make the playoffs. Those are my marching orders.
Yes.
That, I mean, glaring comments.
Again, non-hockey people making hockey decisions.
And is it also not Jay Feaster admitting, hey, that's not mine. I'm just doing what I'm told here. It's not me doing the right hockey thing. I've got my marching orders from exactly. And he's almost throwing his hands up in the air. I got to do what I got to do. You got to do what the boss says. So that just throws more, I don't know, fuel on the fire that somebody in charge should not be in charge of the hockey operations.
You remember those commercials out a few years ago, Grant, where businesses were being run by all those chimpanzees? One guy sitting there just shaking his head. It's kind of what I kind of envisioned the scouting team like on draft day. Well, because they really haven't done dick all.
Well, I don't know. Todd Button's been around here a long time, and I think under the Darryl Sutter there was a direction they had to go, and that was pretty small parameters. Now it's a little wider. Look at the NCAA kids they're getting right now, and maybe going to Europe and getting more kids. I think it's changing, Mike. And I think Sven Berchi is a good example of that they are expanding their horizons when it comes to scouting young players. But I agree it's a crucial time. I hope Jay Feaster and John Weisbrod, the assistant GM, have the wherewithal to go and do what they have to do.
If there is a bright spot, Grant, it is those 3 draft choices. And the second one, like I said, more free agents coming available. But I think the biggest bright spot is getting Berchi and Reinhart, people like this, exposure, an opportunity to go play in the big leagues, not afraid to make mistakes, because really what's going to hurt now, right?
Yes.
Just give them some exposure, give them some experience, so when they come to camp next year, they have a little more confidence in themselves and what they can bring to this hockey club.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't know if Max Reinhardt's ready for the NHL. Maybe he is, but certainly Sven Berchi took a step backwards this year. Maybe he's ready to go forward again. My big concern next year as far as veterans is Mike Camilleri and Alex Tanguay. They make Tanguay makes a good dollar, but it's long term. Camilleri makes almost $7 million. Do those two guys want to be here? They were very close to Jerome McGinley. Do they want to be here? What are the Flames going to do? Are they a cancer in the room? Are they causing more problems? Are they a downers in the room for those younger guys? That is a major, major hurdle the Flames will have to deal with. Either unload those guys over the offseason or buy somebody out.